Greetings, analytic friends. This week we welcome the end of the term, and with that, we hope our earlier work in using learning analytics helped us steer some students back on track. At this point in the term, we're aiming to use learning analytics to learn about how the course went as a whole. Reflection is often an instructor's best friend, but too often with the constraints and other deadlines, making time for course revision can easily be put on the back burner. My hope is that by building in time for learning analytics, it can help you be more efficient and accurate in deciding which areas of your course you wish to tweak. The goal of this week's video is to help you learn about areas in your course in which revision could help improve student performance. To start, let's go back to some of the tools we learned about earlier in our training. We went through course grade and weekly online activity. And now that we're a few weeks into this quarter, or now that we're towards the end of this term, we can kind of see it all of the weeks together on this view. And so we get a different viewpoint. We can see all of the assignments of teaching this course or one of our courses. And by the views presented with learning analytics, we do get to see some outliers. And so under course grade, I want you to go and look back at all the assignments in Guidance 105 or another course that you're teaching and see which are any of the outliers of general student performance. Where did students struggle? Also, consider thinking about your course and some of the assignments that you have. Do you have any gatekeeper assignments? Meaning assignments that if the students don't complete, it really prevents their success in that course down the line. Maybe first few unit exams where it's worth a ton of points where students who don't do well often struggle to complete. These are the things that I want you to think about in this module. Some of these outlier assignments are some of these kind of gatekeeping assignments. And let's see what we can do to maybe build some interventions around those assignments to improve areas of student success. Just looking at course grade, and I'm in a colleague's course, with permission, of course. And just looking at the course grade option here, I see, generally students are doing pretty well on most of these assignments, but there's one of them that maybe was a little underperforming. And so it's a quiz, and we can click on this and we can get some information on it. We can get the range of scores of the student's performance, the average grade, how many are missing and how many are late, and then the highest score. This is kind of a typical layout of scores, right? Here's the numbers of students who didn't submit, and then this is kind of the range of the mid to lower completers. So looking at this makes me think maybe there's something that I could do better to prepare students, some of these middle grade students in this course or on this specific assignment. Some things to think about it. What time of the quarter did this take place? Are there any lectures that I have that can prepare students for this quiz? Is it all only reading? Are there other supplemental activities that we can put in to help students with this? Are there pre-quiz activities that I can prepare students? Maybe even a study guide for the quiz, or an activity or a discussion board that we can build in. We'll get more into specific interventions within the next page in this module, and down to the details of how to actually implement those. But these are some of the things that I want you to think about when you look at your course. You're going to know your course better than anybody else, and you'll know maybe specific assignments where students get stuck on. We can kind of call those pinch points. I know in my classes I always had some of those. That's course grade. Weekly online activity provides some options as well. This is a completed course from a while ago, so I'm going to scroll back to when this course was active. When I'm looking at this here, kind of an analytical mind will be looking at the general flow of the course. And as we discussed earlier, the top part is page views, and then this is participations. And this represents kind of a typical level of participation from students. Starts off high, it settles into the flow of the course, and then it dips down after finals week. You might see a big bump here towards finals week as well. That's pretty common. And we'll see that in a lot of different classes. Things to keep an eye out here are big peaks and valleys here. If you see a big valley, that means students aren't participating and they're not active in that course during that week. So what aspects of your course are causing these reasons why students aren't participating in there? Could there be there's no assignments that week and you just really have them working towards a big presentation? That could be a common reason why. But maybe you can scaffold that presentation, that big project, and give them reason to check in that week so that the students who maybe need that regular interaction or those regular deadlines aren't slacking off that week. Those are some things to think about. We've talked about students, and this doesn't have accurate student data because it's a past course. And then the last thing I really wanted to point out too was reports, but unfortunately I'm not super excited about the reporting feature in Canvas, as you'll see here. When I go ahead, I think you can run a report for missing assignments, late assignments. I don't know how useful that would be, but when I go into course activity, this does have some good information. However, if we zero in on the details here, it doesn't show me course activity for the whole term. It shows me that the course activity only accommodates the last 2 weeks in the past from now, and the data still is 40 hours delayed. And so had it been the whole term, I'd probably be advising you to go ahead and pull this report because it might be useful. But if you were trying to use this as a tool to make some informed decisions on our course design, I really don't see it being very useful. Hopefully this improves and we can get maybe customized date ranges for when we pull this data. But as of right now, it's not very helpful. And so those were some areas that I hadn't discussed yet in this training. And I mostly haven't discussed them because I don't know how valuable they are going to be for you. But for this week, I think looking back at weekly online activity and looking back at the course grade and trying to find some outliers, trying to develop some interventions for assignments that are especially tricky, I think that's going to be your task, and I challenge you to keep iterating, because teaching, of course, as you know, is always an iterative process, and we're always trying to make small tweaks to improve that. And I think using the analytics to help identify those, yeah, we kind of know some of our pinch points, but the analytics can maybe give us some new insights. I hope this can help you, and look forward to seeing your ideas for improvement moving forward.